So, as you can see, I've gotten a lot of interest in some of my videos. And what I've learned from this and looking at the analytics is that there's an actual interest in the things that I want to talk about. And the things that people want to learn from me are actually some of the things that I want to teach, which is weird because, to be honest, I just assumed that nobody cared. That's not true. And to be honest, thank you. Thank you so much. That's all I can really say about that. But at the same time, like, I recognize that the only reason my channel took off was because I deleted most of my old content. I had a lot of things posted that, quite frankly, are exactly the kind of things people are asking for now. I had tutorials, I had guides, I had step-by-step instructions how to build things, and nobody ever wanted to watch them. I went over this in one of my prior videos. People just didn't want to learn. And so I started doing more short form content because I felt like if I people didn't want to learn, at least I could help them learn anyway in smaller bites. Even if it was something, at least I was helping reduce the ignorance in the world. Because one of the things you have to understand is that when you've got as much experience in technology at all the different companies I've worked at, like I do, you kind of feel like you've got an obligation to teach, and you've got an obligation to teach people what you've learned so that that knowledge isn't lost when you're no longer around. You know, this uh, it's kind of interesting because I feel like in my career I have had a lot of opportunity to lead teams and organizations, and I've been blessed to be able to do that with up to, 200 engineers at a time. But I never feel like I'm done. Like, it's always about wanting to do more, and I'm not Mr. Beast. I know that. But I wish I could do some of the stuff he does. But I don't have the community for that. I don't have enough followers. I don't have that authority. So I do what little I can with what I've got. If you look at my entire thing, the lifetime of my entire thing, you've got a few things that I didn't remove from before. That was about finance and building companies and things. And I had a random thing about paying cash for my car. That car was a mistake, to be clear. I should not have bought that car. It gave me so much joy, but it was a complete money sink. And so when you go to the last year, you realize that the stuff I've been posting is not at all like the stuff that I posted before. It's not business related, it's not design related, it's not in-depth tutorials on code. And yeah, I've had an IDE on my screen a few times, but I have yet to code in front of you in those videos because I know that it's not wanted. And at least that's how it feels. And so I don't know what to do, but I want to keep walking this road, and I want to keep walking this path, and I want to see what happens because I've already been told by people that I'm helping them. And that gives me so much joy. But it also makes me sad because I recognized that I could have been helping people more and I wasn't. And I don't want to go back to not helping people. I want to keep helping people. But I also need to do it in a way that helps me. I can't have it be sustainable if I can't, figure out how to get monetization on YouTube or figure out a way to build out a community that allows me to have memberships so that the people who actually want to learn the most can or support me the most can actually do so. And when I was doing prior business development stuff, it always felt like I was walking uphill in the snow both ways because it was such a difficult type of content to make, but then nobody wanted to hear it. And yet, as a developer, I don't feel that just writing code is all you need to be a successful software development engineer. I truly believe that if you're going to be successful in your career, you need to be aligned to the business. The problem is, in software, companies are scared of you learning those skills because if you learn those skills, they don't have a moat. And at that point, they have to worry about you actively competing with them. Because if their business is built on something stupid and simple, and you have the skills to duplicate that, then where is the value of their business? And so, as a result of that, there's a lot of companies out there that do not like it when a developer has business skills. And so, any business skills that I may or may not have, I hide. Because let's face it, I'm probably not an expert at them anyway, because I'm not a business guy. I'm not a sales guy. I'm not a marketing guy. And to be honest, I prefer reading books on engineering problems. I prefer reading giant tomes like this for fun in my spare time, just because I feel like it. Okay. And so the end result is that as an engineer, I want to be able to do engineering stuff. And yeah, I've picked up some business stuff with startups that I've been a part of. But the problem with that too is that every startup I've joined that has been super successful because of my experience or my code has gone off without me and used that success while not giving me any part of it. And I've had business partners that have actively gone out of their way to do everything they could to steal that value. Like I had one business partner that literally tried to steal a domain name I owned because they thought that if they got the domain name that they owned the technology as well. Like they had the source code and everything. And that was obviously not the case. I mean, basic DNS, right? But the business people don't know technology. And, they're focused on customer relations management and deal making and sales and marketing and perception management and all those things. And honestly, it feels kind of dirty and not trustworthy to me at times. Well, at the same time, I'm working on code and looking at how things actually are and trying to make sure that the bits are aligned so that, when everything works in memory of the computer, it actually runs as expected and does the thing well to a high quality. And it does it when I'm asleep. So I don't have to worry about supporting it. Part of being in FANG and being a software development engineer as part of a professional team is that you have a level of quality expected of you that the hobbyist or random YouTubers talking about how they want to be a software developer one day just can't teach you. And so I do feel like I could raise the bar, raise the roof, whatever, and help you guys be better. And I'm seeing interest in that, but I don't know how to do that effectively. I have to go back mentally to when I was working in children's education. as part of the Hacking STEM team. And I remember my day to day was working on C# and C++ because I was working in Office, because I've got code in Office. Okay. And I remember dealing with all the different libraries and everything, and dealing with the huge build time. Man, if you think Rust builds are slow, yeah, I've seen C++ builds that are even slower. And the real big thing there is that we actually had a glass room where we would have kids come in with their teacher, and we would, do the user accessibility and user studies that you hear about. And I would actually take part in that. I would literally be like, here's the room, here's where I was, and there's a glass wall. And I could literally get footage of that meeting at my desk, and I could literally get that feedback and update the code. And then the next time they came in, their issues were gone, or we had a new test for them. And I was able to be part of that feedback loop. And it was so great because the look on the kids' faces when they understood something. Because remember, I wasn't trying to sell them anything, I was trying to teach them. Okay? Our goal was to teach kids science, technology, engineering, and math. That's what our goal was. It was to allow kids to build out the Tony Stark Iron Man hand, or work with the, BBC to learn about sharks and things. And so the end result was that team dedicated themselves completely to children's education. I worked with some amazing teachers, but most importantly, I learned a lot about education. But I still don't consider myself a teacher because I'm not qualified. And so I still feel like I still want to learn. I want to teach what I know, but I also want to keep learning. And if I'm really, 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 really lucky, most of what I've learned will eventually be taught to other people. But I don't know how to do that correctly right now. I would like to build out memberships. I would like to build out a team of people whose sole goal is to help people learn and be successful with what they learn. But I don't have the means to do that right now. And if you know anything about the technology sector right now, it's freaking crazy. Because everybody's trying to claim that artificial intelligence will replace software development engineers, and no, it won't. It might be used as a tool by the people who know what they're doing, but even ChatGPT version 4, which I have a subscription to, I've tried to use it to write code, and it fails most of the time. I give it clear, concise instructions, and it gives me minimal results. But, sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not, but it's like a tool any other way. And honestly, it's mostly good for summarizing documentation. It's basically a better Stack Overflow for some things. And so the big issue there is, I look at this and I look at the interest that I have and what I'm getting that's repeated, because it's not just about these spikes. It's not just about these spikes. It's about how over time I'm getting an increase, and it's snowballing. And I'm realizing that, just a couple of weeks ago, I checked and I only had like 100 subscribers. Now I have 412 apparently. And it just amazes me. Like, I never thought I would be at that level, because I know the math. Like, when I first started with YouTube, it was super rare for anybody to have a subscriber that wasn't their mom. Okay? And if you manage to get 10 subscribers, you were legit. And so I'm really humbled by this. It feels like it has to propel me further, and it kind of pulls me forward. And to be honest, the more subscribers I get, the more I want to create content that will be enjoyable by them. And so I need to understand more about this, and I need to do more research. But who knows? Maybe some of my old videos that I had to delete, maybe that'll be useful to you guys. Maybe you guys actually do want to learn about programming and software and how to actually do stuff instead of, maybe I just was unpopular and I was getting a few trolls that were trying to keep me down. I don't know. But I'm going to let the general tone of my comments and the community guide me on this. And yeah, I know that means I'm going to get some trolls, but I'm going to be very brutal with those trolls. I've already banned several people that wanted to troll. I deleted their comment and then hid my channel from them intentionally so they couldn't find me. I've done that for at least 3 people so far, because I could clearly see that they were there to farm interactions and trying to get people to go to their page so they could spam people, for example. I also had one person who was just flat out trying to steal my content, and that's just uncool. So I banned them. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is I want your time on my channel to be of value to you. It's not just about me. Like, I put this out there because I feel like there's a real need and I want to teach and I want to grow and I want to help people. But I also recognize that that by itself isn't enough. And so I'm hoping to build out a membership community of some kind. And I'm hoping to be able to have guides and, allow people to learn and do things at their own pace and self-study and things. Just gonna have to figure that out. But all the same, thank you. You've made it this far. Thank you.